Well, hey, we're rolling here in Facebook Live and again on another Wednesday evening here. So yeah, welcome everybody. Just kind of hanging out, chit chatting. If you haven't been here before, I want to welcome you. There's a couple people I don't think I've seen on the call before. Bobby, have you ever been joined us
I
on
was
the
there last
call?
week.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, man. It gets busy in here. What about
Oh
you,
yeah.
Eric? Have you been on this call before?
Yeah, I've been on it a couple of times.
Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, welcome back, man. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, I hope you are as busy as I am. I wish that on you. And look, there's Max Pearlstein checking in. Right on, man. Yeah, today I was doing some work and I was thinking about for a topic. Uh, if you guys ever have situations where you're having to do some notching or doing some other kind of work, like on the job, kind of other people's work where you have to modify stuff to make things go. We're on a job today where it was as I'm working for a contractor and we have these right angle enclosures that have some bull noses and stuff. And when we were laying it out originally, it was like, oh, we'll just notch those. So it's like, okay, I mean, if that's how you want to do it, I kind of prefer to notch the glass around the bull nose myself, but it's like, whatever, it's your carnival. So get there to do it, and it's like the tile guy isn't even there. So we've got the tools, we need to do the notching and stuff. So we do. But just curious if you guys ever do that, or if you just refuse to do it, or how do you handle that sort of a situation?
Once I had a large door, like 30 inches wide by 80, and I realized that it didn't have any structure in the back, any 2x4s. So I spoke to the contractor, and he was like, "Listen, help me out, and let's get it done." And I have the 2x4s here, so I cut out the wall in the back, put the 2x4s, and make it work. It.
Wow, that's the first time I've heard that. Has anybody else ever had that kind of an experience?
We've done that several times. We don't like to, but you're standing there with two guys on site and you're maybe 40 minutes away. You want to call it a day and go back, or you go back and offer to fix it. Now, we make it explicit. We don't do drywall work, finishing, painting, etc., but we have done it.
So you don't do the patching or anything like that.
No.
You'll cut the drywall, put the 2x4s in there,
Yeah.
anchor them in, whatever, screw them to whatever other 2x4s. Hopefully there's something in there, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've never done that. I mean, I've notched, the stone on tops of benches and knee walls and stuff. I'll notch it myself.
Mhm.
I actually would prefer to notch it myself as opposed to having the tile guy do it, because
I agree.
then I can notch it just where I need, and I can make it a tight fit if I need to, if I need a little more room to the inside or outside, whatever it may be. I mean, some of the tile work, right, that we're putting doors on, I don't know that I would trust some of these guys to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time too. Notch the benches.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like if you lay it out for the tile guy to do, just let him do it, you almost have to lay it out big
Yeah.
so that you'll have enough room to make it work, if he's off a little bit or things don't turn out exactly right. Whereas if you're doing it yourself, you can cut it real tight, and if it doesn't work, you're still there make it a little wider or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas the tile guys, he's long gone by then, and it's like, oh crap, you end up doing it anyway.
Right.
Well, we all know that our glass doesn't always end up exactly where we intend for it to be, right? The hole migrates or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
And so it's just easier to notch it yourself and be done.
Hey, I have a similar question. So when you're doing channel and you're going to set the channel and they're going to tile next to it, do you guys generally set the channel? We prefer to, but half the time our contractors are like, leave it with me and I'll set it and all. And I worry too much that they're not going to get it in plane. It's not going to be right. What do you guys do with channel setting in tile?
We've
Most
not
of the
set the
time I go to
channel.
that, it's already set. It's already preset.
The tile
already
setters doing it?
Yeah, they've already taken care of it. And I typically don't know until I get there.
I just took a call on that where a flooring company that sends me doors has gone to this inset channel that Schluter, I guess, has been using. Now, I'm going to measure one Friday that he's doing. I've not measured it yet, but so I guess it's a similar situation. We're going to arrive on site and it's already going to be set. So to your point, Shannon, I don't, you're hoping it's in line, hoping in plane.
Yeah.
I guess you have to point that out, right? If it's not, if you put your laser on it and your reveals aren't going to look good, I mean, to me, that's an issue, or could be.
Yeah.
And you hope it's watertight.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I measured one 2 weeks ago and they had already set the channel, the Schluter channel in the wall. And they wanted to go full height with the panel, but it lined up on the outside of the tiled ceiling. And I was like, I can't, I'm kind of limited as to what I can do here as far as designing this and, putting hardware up top. I mean, I have nowhere to, the setback and the drop down. I mean, everything was wacky. So I said, listen, I'll just have to butt up against it and caulk it. But, it was one of those things where like they had determined where they wanted it, but only kind of followed the line so far. And then they kind of like bailed. So it's hard for me sometimes. I try to get in and be part of the process, the design process, if I can. But a lot of times I'm not getting the call until that stuff's already set.
Right. Yeah, it's like you can cheat things out, of plumb, out of level a little bit. I mean, but like with a steam shower enclosure, like a lot of times those things, like they miss it completely. I mean, there's only so much you can cheat a door out of plumb before it starts running into the floor, or something like that. So it's like, yeah, you can make things work to an extent, but at some point, it's beyond that. And I've had those jobs where it's like, yeah, get your tile guy back here because this is never going to work. Here, let me show you. And set up a laser and start showing them. Okay, see where that dot is? Yeah, that's not where you want your glass to end up. Right on. Well, there's Brandon at Castro. Brandon, what's going on? I ain't seen you in a while.
What's going on?
Good to see you, my brother. Been
Yeah,
busy?
for sure. Swamped. Swamped. And busy is an understatement, right?
I had a feeling.
Right?
Yep. Hey, there's Max Perlstein. Max, what's going on, dude?
Good to be here. Good to catch up with you guys. I love listening in. So and seeing some familiar faces. So Mike, good buddy of mine from West Virginia there. Love it. And Billy Britt. So very, very cool. And I'll see Brian next week in Nashville with Brian Jerd. So I'm looking forward to all of that. But it's just good to sit here and listen and catch up on what's going on in your world.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for showing up, man. It's good to
Absolutely.
see you. I see Keith, but I don't see his dad, man, which is really weird. It's like when we have this and
big night tonight for Dollar Bill.
yeah,
Yeah, he's hanging.
be.
He's I'm not supposed to do a spoiler alert, but there'll be plenty of photos
All right.
later to show where he was at this evening.
All right.
Sometimes we have to sit in the B team, that's why I'm here.
Look at that head of hair. Nice
I
hair,
know,
baby.
it's nice, isn't it?
Damn.
By the time his glass build comes, I'll be able to cut it off and make some for
Wow.
He had to grow it out so it would flow in the wind while he was riding the bicycle the other day.
I have to, yeah. To keep up with Keith's videos, I gotta have that flowing look.
Yeah, you look like Fabio.
I don't look. The rest of it doesn't. So we'll just leave that alone. Good to see you all.
Fabio.
Nice. Yeah, we got the backup team here. No. So yeah, I mean, if Bill Dobbin's not here, I mean, there must be something pretty important going on because I don't think he misses very many of these.
Very important.
Was that?
I said it's very important.
It's got to be.
Very important. Yep.
Yeah, he posted that he was meeting a bigwig tonight. I mean, I don't know if anybody
Big
saw
wig.
He's
big.
He's rubbing elbows with the bigwigs tonight.
Ooh,
Yep.
Bigger than these guys? I mean, I didn't know that there was anybody bigger than.
Not bigger than Chris Phillips, but the rest of us maybe.
The other guys, not me. Yeah, okay. It must be something pretty impressive. I'm sure I'm going to be blown away when I find out what's going on. Suspense is killing me. I hope.
Chris, are you going to the show at the BZ? How many people in the group are going to the BEC besides Max?
I don't.
I'm going to the G-Pad.
G-Pad, second half, okay.
Yep.
Cool,
I missed
cool.
the memo. I'm heading over to Glass Expo Northeast, but I have to go to Alaska first next week.
Oof. Dude, you're supposed to be following the sun, not the snow.
It's been nicer up there than other places, that's for sure. We'll
The
see.
gentleman who just spoke about the G-Pad, is there anything you're going to look for in particular?
I'm trying to learn, not in particular at this point, no, because I make IGs. I'm just trying to learn from the best, I guess. Because I mean, Nashville is just a 2-hour drive, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's nice and close.
Right on. Well, I hope it's a productive trip for you.
And me as well.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks to Max, we're looking at G-Pad. There's another group going. I'm only there for the first part, looking at some imaging equipment to inspect the glass as it comes out of the furnace, so we can allocate the 5 or 6 people we have in quality control to other parts of the factory, just to help with some of the bottlenecks. So I'm going to try and implement some more technology into the manufacturing and lean it up a little bit more. So that's some things we'll be looking at.
Good.
And
good.
and thank you, Max.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's a great technology, and I think it's one that helps, the fabricators, and then obviously runs downhill to everybody that's installing. That they don't have to deal with bad glass. If we can,
Oh my God.
catch it in the plant,
Oh,
or it gets loaded on a truck, that would be huge.
huge.
Yeah.
Hey
Yeah,
guys,
no,
I would like to know, since we have Max here, I don't have any plans to be in Nashville, and I'm not overly familiar with that show or what's going on. But for a smaller entity like myself, Max, what would you say would be the draw for that show?
this event is so the BEC stands for Building Envelope Contractors. So it's definitely more for the exterior, it's install people. And it was created 24 years ago, really to focus on that building envelope side of things. And, it's grown over the years, and it attracts, your top 50 glazers. And then with it, it attracts all the fabricators that want to, and also the other component suppliers that want to be in their kind of world. And then, so really, Billy, for your angle, it's really, unless you're doing a lot of exterior work, it's really not that play. For me, I think the glazing executive forum at Glass Build is better for this group, because it covers so much of both, outside work, but also inside work. And then the financial talk, the forecasting, things like that, supply chain stuff, that one, the GEF is really good. This year, what Keith was talking about and Brian's attending is the glass processing and automation days. So anybody that's looking for, new equipment, different equipment, where the technology is going, and that includes like polishing, beveling, drilling, milling, but also like what Brian's looking for with insulating, tempering, laminated, and then like Keith mentioned, the inspection equipment. So that's another day and a half, and that's all presentations on that. So a little different. So a little different part of the industry getting together in Nashville. It happens every, these BEC conferences are in the spring, and then obviously Glass Builds in the fall. We're going to continue to grow some of these things out. And, I want to do more Glass Build for the shower door side. We had Chris a couple of years ago. I'm hoping that since it's on the West Coast this year, so it's closer to Chris, that we could do something really good on the shower door side this year. Because last year we didn't do any education, and this year we're going to go full scale at the education and more informative stuff. And if we can involve Chris and involve this group, that's my goal at this point.
Good to hear. That was mostly my understanding. I had a couple people reach out for me from the NGA asking if I was going to attend, and my understanding was it doesn't really cover most of the realm that I push into. Now we do some envelope stuff, but it's not on a large scale by any means. So I want to make sure I had a good understanding of it, and the other guys here did for what exactly that one's going to look like. But yeah, the learning stuff that when I filled out the survey from the last Glass show, that was the main point that I touched on, was how great the learning sessions had been in the past. And I know why we weren't able to do them this past year, but those are probably my favorite thing about Glass Build, is the learning and breakout sessions where you listen to someone talk. Met Chris a few years ago at that, and it's like this, but in an environment where we're all face to face. That's an awesome portion of the show when it was there. So.
And it's nice. And I mean, the hope is that, we can teach things in those learning sessions, and then you head out to the floor and you actually see some of the options, and that's the big thing is you figure out how you can incorporate it in your day-to-day life. So, I think we got big plans for that. We just got to get through BEC and GPAD first these next couple of weeks. And I heard somebody going up to Glass Expo Northeast. That'll be a good event. The Mid-Atlantic show in Maryland's coming up in April. So there's some fun things coming up. And if anybody here's in Texas, the Texas Glass Conference in May is going to be fantastic in Round Rock. They've got Chris Peranto coming to speak at that. And he's one of the guys from the Benghazi siege, that survived it. One of the heroes that kind of helped, repel that siege the best he could. And he's speaking at that Glass Conference, which we don't usually get, cool speakers like that. So if you're in Texas, that's a good one for you.
Max, will you be at the Glass Expo Northeast?
I wish. No, I won't. That one I'm missing, unfortunately. I have another a conflict with the schedule, so I'll be in South Carolina and Georgia at that time. So, but Andrew and the rest of the gang will be there. So make sure you look out for them, sir.
The B team. I'm just surrounded. All right, that sounds good. Well, hopefully I'll catch you at the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Billy, when I'm going on Sunday and Monday to the BEC show, and I didn't realize that there's other installers kind of like us, but on much larger scale, they're going to be there. And I've been following a lot of them, and there's a couple different type of jobs that I know are on the horizon around here that I couldn't, I have some questions about that make me feel a little bit uncomfortable, and I'm anxious to corner them and get their real life advice on doing some of these type of projects. So I'm not necessarily there looking for specific product, although there's 3 products that I am looking for. I'm looking to corner a couple of these heavy hitters that have been installing these for almost 3 generations, of experience that I'm hoping to tap into. So it's not necessarily product as much as gaining some valuable information from somebody who's already learned it the hard way. I'm trying to learn a lot less lessons the hard way because I'm really good at that. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on.
Yeah, that's the other most important side of all the shows. I mean, almost as important as the show is meeting with people and gaining knowledge. Like I said, it's a version of this, but face to face for sure. So that's you can't put a price tag on that portion of it by any means.
And it might not be right now, maybe something I'll use a year from now, but there was something like this that got me that curved glass railing job that I was petrified to touch 2 years ago until I met the right person and just kind of quelched my anxiety. And it was at one of those shows. It was at the NGA, the glass build, but I'm hoping to tap into some more of that here this weekend.
Good deal. Good deal. And hopefully everybody on this call will be at Glass Build this fall in Vegas. Again, we're going to have the shower door stuff there, but like Billy was saying, the networking is huge. And right now with the way the supply chain is, to be able to get in front of some of these people, some different suppliers, strengthen your relationship with them, that's huge. That's everything. I mean, you got to have options. And that's what this world is about right now, is making some friends and keeping those friends, because you don't know when you're going to need them for sure.
Max, what are the dates for that glass build show in Vegas?
I believe October 18th to the 20th. I'll double check that.
It's my birthday, October 18th.
Yeah.
In years past at the glass show, since I've been going for a few years, they used to have classes that you can pick and choose which one you used to go to, like glass shower doors. There's a guy down there in Vegas that did a lot of high-rise stuff. He would do talks, and they sort of got away from that, and they just started doing the stuff on the trade show.
Yeah.
On the floor.
Yeah. It was, what it came down to is it became a battle between keeping people on the floor versus them going off into, the classrooms. And some of the classroom studies, started to not get the attendance that we had hoped. And so we tried to do the quicker sessions on the floor, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. Sometimes you couldn't hear, sometimes they didn't go as in depth. So this year we're going to have a little bit of both. We're going to have things on the floor, and then we're going to have things off into different areas with different focuses. Fabricated glass and shower doors are a part of that. We had our first kickoff call last week about it. And so I expect both of those things to have some specific study angles. So we'll have a little bit of both now, Tim, going forward. But we switched it because we're trying to keep people, at the end of the day, those exhibitors on the floor, they're the ones that are paying the bill. So we got to keep people in front of them, and we're trying to kind of thread that needle a little bit. So we're going to try hybrid this year.
Yeah. But there's one guy in Las Vegas, he was out in Henderson. I can't remember his name, but he would always give a good talk on the building and play stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that, but I'm just excited to have Chris, because Chris was one of our, easily one of our highest attended speakers when he spoke. That was Atlanta, 2018, Chris?
That's right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thanks so much for helping me get that opportunity. It was a blast, and I don't know if there's any guys here who haven't been to a show like that, but I'd never had been. Just never had time to go before, and it was just at a time when I just felt like this year I think I can get away, for I don't know, a few days and go check it out. And it was a blast, man. I mean, like Billy was saying, just getting around everybody, and learning some stuff, but then, seeing what's new as far as products go, and then getting to just hang out with people that I'd met online but had never met in person. It was a blast, man. I went out to dinner by myself, and was sitting there having dinner. A few guys like from Glass Guru came up and they spotted me and they recognized me, like, hey, man. So I, invited them to sit down at my table, and we had just a great time, man. So yeah, if you've never done it, I highly recommend you try it.
And now Chris has like a bodyguard controlling him at Glassville. We can't get near him, he has security. So it's really tough. It is October 18th to the 20th, though. I just did confirm that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Vegas is my old stomping grounds. That's where I grew up. That's where I did my apprenticeship. So.
And you worked on the New York. That's my favorite story of yours.
Hey, yeah. Well, my dad was actually the project coordinator of that job.
It's amazing.
So he was an old guy. He had retired. I think he was on his second time retiring, and they talked him into going to work and doing that. So. Good time.
Chris, do you need a Fabio looking bodyguard that's maybe skinnier and some taller? Do you need one of those?
Absolutely. There? I mean, the Fabio the better.
I would learn a lot just, beating up people around you, just listening to you talk to people. So we'll do that. We'll count on that. Keith can do the other one. We'll just do it together.
You guys.
Okay.
If I could ask, Brandon, I'm curious. Yeah, I saw you were you had a lot of world travels here recently. Hopefully, you had a good trip. How's life and business for you? You've had a nice little run recently.
It's good. Just busy, just trying to keep up, staying in front of the hardware issue, and got some big deals with that in the works. Just trying to stay ahead of everything. So.
Any advice on the staying ahead of everything with the hardware issue? Because I know that's something that, I mean, Jim doesn't have this problem, but a lot of us lose hair over that.
We just buy in bulk. So we'll put an order in, either know it's not there yet. Like for instance, satin brass, we'll pre-buy a lot of that stuff just so it's already there. And by the time it comes in, we have enough of it to get us through, and we'll order more, and then we have more coming in. So it slowly trickles in. You might get some BBRZ hinges here and there that just trickle in, but just try to keep ordering it and trying to negotiate those bigger deals and all that. The thing for us is we have multiple locations, so we're able to stock it and ship it out to our other locations when they need it. So
yeah, I didn't realize you had multiple locations. How many locations you have?
So we have 4. We have one in Phoenix, Denver, Austin, and Long Island.
Oh wow.
So,
Wow. Did not know that. Well, we'll visit your Austin one and come to the Texas Glass Conference in May.
I was actually supposed to be out there right now, but I didn't end up flying. Last minute ticket, just didn't want to pay for it, and the crowds right now. So we're busy out here, and I had to deal with some inventory stuff. So inventory is always fun.
You don't want to be there for those tornadoes either.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
well, thank you for that info. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Hey, so when we started up, we were just talking a little bit about kind of unexpected tasks that come up on a job. Like you get there and something hasn't been done that should have been done. People talk about like finding out there's no studs where you need to hang your door, and actually like cutting open the drywall and nailing some studs in there so you've got something to anchor your door to. Who's got a fun story about like something that you had to do on the job that you didn't expect to do?
They're just painful memories, Chris.
Come on, you can tell us. You can tell us about it.
I would say the tile work is probably the worst I've seen it in the 15 years that we've been doing glass. I don't know if everybody else is seeing that, just awful tile work.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general here recently?
Well, every single thing that you shouldn't do, the negative slope, flat slope, the famous half, neo angle where they build the buttress walls out square to the wall and your door is, everybody's smiling, they know what this is, and glass tile where it shouldn't be. I mean, just every possible thing to make it difficult. There seems to be a lot more of that nowadays. We deal with it, but there's a lot of it.
What's really interesting is seeing the tile work in different, since we have multiple locations, seeing it in different regions on how it's done. Like even from like homeowner perspective, just the styles and everything, and how we've seen some pretty crazy stuff in New York. But homeowners doing it just did not even make sense. I don't even know how we made a shower work in some of these openings. So, but just think outside the box and get it done. And yeah, pain in the ass.
Yeah, the difficult part is when there's off standard angles and then they want satin brass. And, it's a 142 instead of 135. And now you got to find that adjustable bracket in satin brass, and it might not even be made.
Right.
So Brandon, have you been spending any time in New York?
No, I'm actually supposed to go out there next month. So I was in Colorado recently, and gonna head over to New York, and I was supposed to go to Austin. So I'll probably go to New York and then Austin. So trying to find better ways to fly.
I'll bet.
No, I'm not one to wear a mask. So
Mhm.
So
I think it's called NetJets.
right.
Yeah, that's becoming a lot more popular, man. I mean, it's it's becoming more affordable.
There's actually a private jet company, JLX, that flies Phoenix, Burbank, Vegas, and San Francisco, and you can literally jump on that thing for $400 round trip. So,
Wow.
like, super inexpensive. You can't even. I mean, that's cheaper than first class flying to those areas in the commercial. So.
Well, the 10 CEOs of the airlines wrote a letter today to the government to say it's time to yank the mandate, and it comes up for renewal on the 18th. So let's hope that they make the right call, because I'm with you. With flying is already not fun, and then when you're masked up, it's a whole another adventure.
Yeah, at least they're not. It's not super bad. Last time I flew, when I flew to Denver, I mean, there's people walking around the airport without a mask on, and most of the people just had them down, and it's just, you can see it's just like people are just over it. So
it's over. Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, I have a question for you. I'm kind of new to the group. I'm sorry if everyone else knows, but how did you end up with 5 locations in such separate areas of the country?
It's just weird how it happened. So we started off in Phoenix, and then one of my buddies that used to work with me, he was a paramedic in Denver, and he wanted to get out of it, and we decided just to start one up out there. So we started one up out there, and then I met a guy named Chance who owned a glass company in Austin. And then we partnered with a different glass experts thing we were doing. We have some technology and stuff and some coaching stuff we were doing. And he moved from Austin to Denver and worked with me. We went in together and went and changed Ames in Austin to a GCS location out there. So it came into our envelope that we had. And then Chance and I partnered with a guy in New York and opened up out there. And it's just weird, like, they are far apart. Trust me, I would rather have one like way closer that's I can drive to a little bit quicker than 12 hours to Denver, or maybe California or something, but it just happened to be that way. But yeah,
You didn't really choose the locations. You chose the people, and they chose.
Yeah, it was just the people, it was just the relationships we had, and kind of put that together, and it's worked out so far. It's worked out really great. Right now, New York was kind of a startup, and it's running really well, and we're sending a letter of intent to a company that's for sale out there on Long Island to try to absorb that company and just double the size of the company out there to kind of get it going a little bit quicker. So
you don't have to say, but are these 5 separate actual companies with different ownership?
So it's 4 companies, and they're 4 separate entities. They all have their own EIN number, but they're all branded as GCS locations. They all share the same DBA as GCS Glass and Mirror.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't fabricate your own stuff, or you do, Brandon?
Not yet. We're actually in the process of figuring that all out right now.
Where do you put the plant?
So it's funny. So we always talked about, man, because originally it was Phoenix, Austin, and Denver, and we're like, man, if we can just New Mexico and connect them and hotshot trucks, they wouldn't be too far. It actually makes sense to put a plant here in Phoenix and run off of Phoenix, and then figure out the rest later. If we can send a truck to Colorado or Austin, we would, if it makes sense. But Phoenix is the largest one, and it makes sense to temper our own stuff here. So hopefully,
congratulations on your success, man.
We'll see how it goes. That's a whole bigger deal, but if it happens, it happens.
Good luck. Shannon, where are you from, and what do you just asked a question, and I don't think I've ever seen you or met you. So where are you from?
Yeah, so we're in Portland, Oregon, just south of there. And we have an installation company. We do primarily showers, of course, wine rooms, and we do back painted glass too. I was curious how many people did back painted glass. We have our own fabrication facility, so we do actually temper and fabricate our own glass.
Oh, great.
So,
what's your company?
DT Glass.
DC Glass. Okay, cool.
D is in David, T is in Tom.
Got it. Got it. Very, very cool. Thank you for sharing that. And so you're doing your own back painting, and you do you temper as well? Is that what you? So you are you buying your tempered out?
Right. No, we temper. We have a furnace, and yeah. So we started doing that. August 11th will be our 5-year anniversary of opening up the fabrication, and we've been in business since 1997. My husband and I actually bought it in 2010. That's when we started focusing on shower glass, which was great because when we bought the furnace, I mean, everybody was like, you got to do IGs, you got to do IGs. And it's like, no, we stopped doing windows 3 years ago. We're not doing windows. So we stayed really focused, and it's worked out.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
How big a furnace is that?
What's that?
How big of a furnace? I think somebody asked.
Oh, we went with 58 by 120, and we were definitely, I mean, you know, who doesn't want bigger? But we started looking at our actual volume, and we do over 58 by 120, maybe twice a month. And we have a really good relationship with another fabricator. And so we'll have them temper that for us. They'll actually allow us, a lot of fabricators won't do this, but they'll actually allow us to fabricate our own glass and then send it to them, and they'll just run it through the tempering oven. So it's a nice little relationship. And we do the same thing for them. If they're in a bind, something's going on, you know, we help each other out. It's been great to have that relationship.
Great. It's nice to learn about that. Nice to meet you. I hope to see you at Glassfield in the fall.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you mentioned the Texas one. Texas is my favorite, Texpo. That one's my favorite because there's plenty of people there, but it's smaller. It's so easy to meet with people and, you know, get some attention and really spend time with people.
Yeah, Texpo is fantastic. Texpo is you know, every other year, and then the off years are they do the glass conference, and so this year it's the glass conference. It'll still be good. It's just a different layout.
Right.
But still worth it. Still worth it. But cool story. I did not realize, you know, the Pacific Northwest has so many different players out there, and you know, it's neat to know that there's somebody else out there. So I learned something today. Thank you. Well,
there are 6 fabricators basically in the Oregon area from basically Washington, Oregon, Northern California. It's so limited. Yeah, and we're the only ones that fabricate first and install.
Right. Well, the consolidation kind of ate that up a little bit with Hartung, you know, buying people up, and Glassworks buying people up and then shutting them down, NWI going away, stuff like that. So yeah, I know
Fabricated's gone, and yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, well, congrats to you and your husband. Keep that going.
Thanks.
Well,
Yeah, I would say
closed up there, right?
sorry,
What did you
Kim.
say, Tim?
Shannon, Fabricated, they closed up there in Oregon.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. They closed up around like over this summer, like May, June, just before summer. It was crazy.
I met him at a trade show in Las Vegas. I told him where I was at, and he told, no, we don't deliver to Carmel. And I said, we're not in Carmel. And they delivered it for years, you know, and then they quit the route, and that was the end of them.
Yeah, we did business with Fabricated until we started our own fabrication, and then they cut us off.
Yeah,
I framed the letter because that meant that we made it.
Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you live there, you work for them. That's what they said.
Yeah, Talent Oregon's pretty small.
Yeah.
Hey, Shannon, you mentioned you were doing back painted glass. Do you guys paint your own glass?
Yeah, so we get our paint from ICD, and you know, before, I don't know if you guys have had the DIY designers and contractors that are like, I got a great idea, it's going to be fabulous, just, you know, help me with the glass and I'll paint it. And yeah, so we tried a few of those, they never worked out. So until we could do like the real thing, the good paint, the quality, it's got that it's a specific.
Is it the polyurethane?
No, it's a silicone based paint.
Yeah, silica based. Yeah. And then you use the right glue for it and you don't get the spots showing through. And yeah, it's really fantastic. We're really happy with it.
Yeah, they can match any color under the sun. I think except Victoria's Secret pink. I think that's the only.
We're working on that.
Yeah, but the Vockler family who owns ICD, they're great people, and it's a great company. Great company.
Yeah, and they match it all as seen through the glass. So you tell them if you want to do just standard glass versus low iron, Starfire, or whatever, and they'll match it as seen through the glass. So they'll add pink tint to it or something to offset the green. They do a great job.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're buying the paint from them and you're painting it yourself. You've got like a booth set up or something?
Right. Yeah. Our shop came with a paint booth because it used to be a cabinet shop. So we were really lucky there. And they actually will only sell to people who fabricate. I don't think you have to have a tempering oven, but you have to at least have a washer. They want to make sure that you're going to do the good quality stuff. Great to be able to do that. I think I haven't checked it out, but Cardinal paint is another paint that we were gonna check and see. They're also kind of in our backyard. ICD's in our backyard. So I don't know if anyone's used any other paint.
No, I've used Pulp Studios out of LA and they're great. I mean, it came out beautiful.
Is there any code on those glass painted black backsplashes for like kitchens, for instance? Does it have to be tempered or can it be annealed, or what's your all's thoughts on that?
We always temper the stuff that goes behind the stove. The rest of it, we let the customer decide. And it's really weird. They're always going, well, I want to make sure that it's really strong. So temper everything. And I'm like, it's against a wall. It's not going to break, but I say, sure, it's tempered. No problem.
You definitely want to temper behind the stove. I learned that the hard way probably about 8 years ago. Don't try and save a few bucks on that. That'll cost you a lot more.
Because of the heat, Keith?
Yes.
Is it because of the heat?
Yeah. And if it's a tight fit, the heat primarily, but if it's tight fit, any pressure in the wrong spot. But I believe it was the heat. It was a gas stove at the time. And just caused it to break and, into a million pieces, of course, and scratch the counter. I mean, it was a nightmare. Always temper it.
But Mike, I don't think there's a formal code for that. Tim may know better because I have a feeling Tim knows the codes better than I do, but I don't think there's a formal code for that.
We did one about 2 months ago, and I guessed right. It was not behind the stove, and there was a debate amongst my staff and I about tempered versus annealed, and to Shannon's point, I didn't feel like it was up against a flat surface. I didn't see any, so we went with the annealed and kept.
How much money do you save from tempered to annealed, if you don't mind me asking? Is it a massive difference?
In this particular case, it wasn't, and I mean, I understand your point. It's probably better to err on the
Yeah.
spend a little bit more money.
Is the juice worth the squeeze? I'm here to tell
Right.
you, no way.
I would say it's more. I would say it's more for you have the leeway with the annealed if you have to rework a panel or something to get it fixed in there than it would be for cost with something custom like a tight fit like that. But really, no code on it because it's similar to a mirror, right? You're gluing a mirror up to a wall. A mirror is not tempered. So it's really similar to that, but definitely behind a stove or any hot areas, temper it because it'll run or crack or swell or break.
Okay. Are people getting a lot of inquiries on back painting? We seem to be hot about 4 or 5 years ago, and I just haven't heard much about it lately.
We used to do a ton of it, and we haven't got any requests in a long time. And yeah, we haven't done any probably in a long time. A little piece here and there, more antique mirror instead of painted back painted glass.
We typically see it pushed from
where all the shower walls are back painted glass, and they were tempered. And then we did the vanity behind the master sink, and that was just annealed glass. But that's the last time I ever worked with it.
Shannon, how much are you doing?
Probably like one project a month, maybe every other month. But they do come in waves. Like we've got 3 going right now, which is unusual, but I'd say they average out to 1 a month. It's good money. We charge a lot for it.
And are you doing mostly kitchen backsplashes and stuff like that?
Yeah, we've done a shower wall, as Tim was talking about, and that just scared me because we had to pre-drill for where they wanted barn door sliders, so we had to pre-drill where the barn door slider was going to be, where the faucet controls were, and the whole bit. And it also worries us because you have to put in expansion joints, and we were, did we have enough? Yeah, so it turned out good, but I was a wreck until it was done. So. Hey, I had a question too. When it comes to heat, we have a friend that has a fireplace company, and he really wants us to sell him tempered glass to go around his outdoor fire pits. Have you guys had any experience with that? I mean, I just worry that it's not going to hold up to the heat. Like maybe should it be fire rated?
If you get it far enough away, it's fine.
Yeah.
What's far enough?
Well, I had one I did.
A block or so.
Next
I had one.
door.
I put it like 2 inches away, 2 or 3 inches away from the pit.
Mhm.
That one worked fine. And then I did another one, but the flames were a little wild. It blew that one up. And I've done a couple, and they're fine.
Yeah,
Shannon, I've done.
I did one, and it was like it got really hot.
Yeah.
But it was for some customers that I'd done a lot of work for, and they were really nice and stuff. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll try it. And I never heard back, so I guess it worked.
In fact, I've got one out here I got to put together and install on a fireplace. Outdoor fireplace pit. So there's a lot, it's not like it's inside where it's getting all the heat and stuff.
I checked into it for a friend of mine, and my understanding is that tempered has a 500-degree limit.
Right.
And so once it hits 500 degrees, it starts to detemper. Is that what you guys are hearing? And then it'll crack.
So Shannon, the project, I've done several with it, and the big project I did was for a hotel group here in Asheville, and we built custom fireboxes, and these were really, they were 10 feet long to sit on their patio area. The big difference you see with a firebox or fire pit compared to when you're using like a Pyrex or a Pyro Saran is it's not a contained airspace. So when you have a firebox, usually your top is open, so a lot of your heat is escaping quickly. So while it will get hot, it's not going to hold that heat in a contained space. So tempered a lot of times is fine. Now, even the folks that were building it's like they were a fire and fireplace and hearth company in our area. They couldn't give me an exact distance because it depends on airflow. It depends on wind. When it's exterior, there's a lot of factors that come into play. But these were, these boxes, each box alone was a $8,000 to $10,000 project. So they were pretty intense, and there's a lot of gas running through them constantly. And we haven't had any issues. They've been there for about 3 years now outside, but it's all about that open airflow. So tempered didn't really worry me too much on these. And we were putting in 24-inch pieces. So they were pretty tall in comparison to most fireboxes. The ones I've done in the past are usually more like 12 inches. So it's still containing a lot of heat, but we haven't had any issues out of it. Honestly, the hardware gets a lot hotter than the glass.
Mm-hmm.
We did use clips to hold that on. So
what thickness glass were you using? 3/8, half inch?
Half inch. We used half inch on it just because the runs were so long.
Yeah.
So if we're running,
so you had no support except at the corners.
No, we did clip it in. So if I had a 10-foot run, we had them, they tapped and drilled the top of these boxes. They were full cladded metal fireboxes. So they tapped and drilled it, and then we attached the clip directly into that with a bolt. So yeah, 2 clips on a run of, roughly 10 feet, and the boxes were 18 to 20 feet long.
Yeah.
So I went half to just give it, a little more rigidity, and then just use one slip-on clip on the corners.
Okay.
So did you
We
use
also did
that?
a curve. So
Did you use that hardware like for sneeze guards and stuff, like the Z hardware, Z bolt, or just a
I
shower
think
clip?
we did go with Z clips. We use Z clips a lot for railing systems.
Right.
So pretty familiar with them. And they leave a gap at the bottom, so that opened up a little more airflow. So the folks doing the hearth had to, really understand how much gas has to come out at a certain time, stuff that I don't understand, to keep, if you get wind blowing and traveling through, that the flame wouldn't die. But that gave even more coolant for the glass itself. So we did use a standoff clip versus a flush mount clip.
That makes sense. Cool, thanks.
How about that? Not just shower doors.
Mm-hmm.
And what is that filled with, like broken tempered glass? I mean, do you use that kind of?
So when the fire pit blows up the glass, they just throw it in there and use it.
That's what I'm thinking. It could be like auto refilling. Well, anybody here who has a question? Got a pretty good panel of people here. You have.
I have an observation. And since I've got on this Facebook and on the Shower Door Professional group, which I love, so many cool pictures that I've actually been like snippeting and using when I'm, doing follow up and trying to interact with customers. And the one thing that I took away from all the pictures was how we all use our blue tape, of course, to hold miters together on anything with a return. And it just dawned on me, why aren't we using a clear tape? Especially now being so involved on social media, you're trying to get as many eyeballs and want everything to look as pretty as possible. And so we started implementing some clear tape that has it's still tacky enough to have the same strength, but doesn't leave a gnarly residue like duct tape or something, or packing tape when they pull it off in 2 days. And I just seems to be like a nice subtle difference in all the social media posts. But I didn't even come to my attention until I started seeing all the pictures through the group.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The clear tape. I won't post a picture with blue tape for any of our showers.
I can't do it anymore.
We actually have a process with us that our guys take pictures of the shower before it's silicone and everything with no tape on there, and then they'll tape it if they need to tape the corner and then silicone it all and complete it. But we get finished pictures before we'll take tape off if we have to get finished pictures, and then put the tape back on the corner if they need to. So we have finished pictures for the most part.
Yeah, I try to remember to do that too until I put the tape on and shoot that first bead, and then I'm like,
you're like, shit.
I'll see like a wine cellar come across, and it's a badass wine cellar, and there's tape on the corner, and I'm literally in the text message like, sorry, I had to tape it because we had to silicone the corner before we can hang the doors because we couldn't get into the corner. So I'm like, you guys are killing me. That would have been a good picture.
Coming this morning. 2 of them came in this morning. As soon as I saw them, we had a sweet, tub in the shower, wrapped the tub with glass, and it continued around the other side. I'm not going to use the language I would normally use. Dad tape all over the corners. Can't post it. Got to go back to the house when they're done and they clean. I mean,
I'm a stickler with pictures. I got my guys. Well, they'll like, if there's like blue tape on a piece of tile that needs to be replaced, I'm like, just remember where that piece is, but pull that blue tape off so you can take the picture and put it back for them so they know what tile needs to get fixed or something. Just so we can get a good finished picture, because we'll probably never be back in the house.
No blue tape anywhere in the photo.
Yeah. Hashtag no blue tape.
I'm going to make a shirt for that. Hashtag no blue tape.
Yeah.
Clear tape matters.
Yeah.
I use clear tape. I have for years. The tape that I use is actually electrical tape. It's vinyl, clear vinyl tape. And it sticks to the hydrophobic coating glass. Like a lot of tape won't stick to that at all. And this stuff does. It sticks really well to it, and it's got that kind of stretchiness that electrical tape has, because that's what it is. It's electrical tape.
Hey, my son.
It comes off really clean. It doesn't leave a residue. It's great.
Hey, Chris, what kind of tape?
It's clear vinyl tape, and
Okay.
it's the same thing that black electrical tape is made
Got it.
of. It's kind of stretchy, like like electrical tape is. It's great.
Chris, maybe you could post a picture later in the group.
I absolutely will. I'll give you a
Wait,
link.
can't we buy it on your website?
I would like to sell it. I thought about selling it on the website, but it's so expensive. What I paid for it, I'd feel guilty. Selling.
I'll sell it for you. We'll get over that real quick.
Okay, cool. Let's talk. Let's talk. It's great tape.
What tape are you using, Keith?
I don't know the name of it. I call it masking tape, but it's not masking tape. It's clear. It's a cross between what Chris is saying and packing tape. All I know is I just told the guys I'd love to have it clear.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit what it is as long as I can use the pictures, like Brandon was saying. It just makes a massive
residue.
difference.
You need no residue. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was an installer too, and I am, customer calls back, say, I can't get this glass is scratched, and you go there and little elbow grease and spit, and it's like, no, it's just a tape. And I didn't want any of those phone calls, so yeah, definitely want a tape that doesn't have the residue.
And for how long will you guys ask the customers to leave the tape? Like 24 hours, 48 hours?
Yeah, at least 24.
At least 24, right?
Or at least till the check clears.
Till the check clears.
Just kidding.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Right on. Well, hey, good talk, everybody. Good talk. I think we had like 20 people on the call. It's crazy. So thanks for coming, man. I'm having a great time.
Thanks for hosting.
I'll keep doing it as long as you guys keep showing up.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
Yeah.
Hey, well, everyone.
Hey, Tunes. Good seeing you, buddy.
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
Tunes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tunes.
Mr. Kate, I'm still coming for this wine cubicle. I don't know what you call it. Someone needed it here, so I'll chat you up on that.
You coming for glass build? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm talking to Mr. Kate.
Tunes is coming to work in the factory.
Nice. That would be awesome, man.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Have a nice evening. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Chris.